In 365 days, you'll have another year to look back on, and you could choose right now for that to be a gratifying reflection, or you could choose to be what your future self looks back on in disappointment. No matter what you do, you'll arrive at that day, and you'll come to the realization that time will never wait for you. You see, most people hate their past self, but I guess it's rarely enough to see the self of right now as an opportunity to fix that for the future. Do not outsource pain to your future self. Please make them happy.
People talk about faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. But there are times where it's hard to muster up that faith. Because the size of a seed is so small it can seem insignificant, but a seed has power in it. Take an apple, you can count how many seeds are within one apple, but you can never count how many apples are within a seed. If you can never have enough faith to believe that you can do something great, I'm talking about believe in yourself so that others can follow that lead. Because no one will believe in you until you first believe in yourself. Because that self-belief begins that self-efficacy, trust in your own judgment. It takes times of failing and understanding that you can't acquiesce and let others decide for you what you will be or what you can do. You must believe that there's something great about you, something that is innate, that is in you, that no one else can bring to the world except you. No, that's not narcissism. It's an understanding that you are unique as your fingerprint. There's only one of you and there will only be one of you. Never stop believing in your greatness, even if it has to start as a seed.
If you feel out of place because you'd rather work on yourself than settle, then you're exactly where you need to be. Choosing effort over ease won't make you popular, but it will make you powerful. Every small decision to take the harder road adds up. It shapes you into someone who's unstoppable. Most people take the easy way. That's why most people don't stand out. The world doesn't need another follower. It needs leaders who dare to be different. It needs people like you. So don't stop now.
A journal and start journaling and writing down your thoughts and writing down your dreams. And when I say that, pick up a pen and a journal and write it down. Dreams, I know this sounds woo-woo, but it's not. Dreams are really powerful, very interesting. They're going to tell you a lot about yourself. It's going to tell you about those journeys your brain takes at night that are pretty fantastical. You write that down. You go back into your childhood and you go, what was it that made me so different? What that was so weird about me? What was it that I was attracted to? As you go through that process, things will start coming up and memories will come up and you'll start connecting to who you were when you were young and you're connecting to who you were as an adolescent.
You should be excited, extremely excited, because this is what all the effort that you put in was for. This is what all of the sleepless nights that you spent staring up at the ceiling, wondering if you're delusional, if all this is going to work out, is for. This isn't the end of the line, my friend. I'm not saying that you're going to obtain and achieve everything that you've ever wished for. But what I am saying is that very, very soon, you will realize that it's all worth it.
You want to achieve your goals, but you're trapped between two realities. Wanting to be disciplined, but not acting disciplined. The only way out is to open the box. And you open that box by taking action. Think about it. How often is it that you dream of getting the results you want? Getting fit, building that business, accomplishing something big, but then you stay stuck in the same place, too comfortable to change. You're trapped between desire and hesitation, alive with potential but not fully real yet. You have to open that box, and you open the box by taking action. So here's what you're going to do. Next time you procrastinate, next time that excuse pops up, take action instead. Force yourself, will yourself into motion to get that thing done. And I guarantee you that the second you start doing that is the second you start making progress towards your goals.
You don't need a therapist. You need to stop defining normal life as a problem. Growth is stressful. Decline is stressful. Stagnation is stressful. Life is stressful. The only thing that it actually tells you is that you're alive. Because you want to know who lives stress-free? Dead people.
The thing about pain is, like, you feel it right now, it's temporary, man. But later in life, you don't remember the pain. You just remember, like, the glory and the good times, the exhilaration of pride and achievement, man. That outweighs all the pain and struggle. Because if you push through the pain to achieve the pride, you forget about the pain was ever even there. But if you can't push through the pain and the pain stops you and breaks you down, well, then that pain is forever. Because you never got pride to outbalance it.
Science shows our expectations can drastically affect how we perceive reality. People who believe they are capable of doing something are far more likely to do it. People who believe they will heal from an injury or illness do so quicker and more consistently. The mind is a really powerful thing, and it affects our bodies and relationships in ways that we don't fully understand. This is why the advice to think positive works for so many people. It trains them to expect better things, which then makes those things more likely to happen. Leverage the expectation effect to your advantage.
Believe in the impossible, not because it's easy, but because the alternative is settling for less than you're capable of. Convince yourself that you can do it, even when the odds are stacked against you. That belief isn't just your starting point. It's the fuel that gets you through the days when nothing seems to work. Doubt might visit, but it doesn't get to stay. Because when you refuse to give up on yourself, it's only a matter of time before you win.
Have you ever stopped to ask yourself the tough questions, the ones that truly matter? Not the kind you toss around in passing, but the ones that dig deep into who you are, what you want, and why you're here. The kind that force you to slow down and face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Let's face it, most of us live our lives on autopilot. We follow the rules society sets for us, chase goals that look good on paper, and silence the voice inside us screaming for something more. We're told what success is supposed to look like, what happiness is supposed to feel like, and what we're supposed to value. But deep down, many of us feel off. Something doesn't add up. Here's the truth. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you dare to ask yourself. When was the last time you paused and truly interrogated the life you're living? If you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or even numb, maybe it's time to stop searching for quick fixes and start asking the uncomfortable questions. But let me warn you, the answers won't always be comfortable. They might even scare you. But that's okay. Growth isn't supposed to be easy. It happens when you confront the things you've been avoiding, when you strip away the layers of societal conditioning, and when you finally start living for yourself. Take a deep breath. Give yourself permission to be honest. This is about you and no one else. You deserve a life that feels real, not one that just looks good on the outside. Imagine for a moment that money and status didn't matter. Close your eyes and strip away every paycheck, every promotion, every successful image you've crafted for the world. What's left? What would you spend your days doing if money wasn't a factor? Who would you become if society's expectations were no longer weighing you down? For most of us, this question feels impossible to answer. Why? Because we've been conditioned to tie our worth to what we earn and how we're perceived. But let me ask you this. When you were a kid, before you knew what a good job or financial stability even meant, what lit you up? Was it painting, writing story, exploring nature? Think back to a time when your dreams weren't constrained by reality. That's where your truth lives. These desires aren't random. They're clues to what your soul truly wants. And remember, it's never too late to realign your life. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow or throw caution to the wind. But you do have to take that first step toward creating a life that reflects who you really are. How many of your decisions are shaped by what other people might think? Be honest. For most of us, the answer is too many. We're terrified of being judged, misunderstood, or rejected. So we play it safe. We bite our tongues. We conform. And in doing so, we silence the most important voice of all, our own. Now, imagine for a moment that you didn't care what anyone thought of you. Imagine you could speak your truth, boldly, unapologetically. What would you say? Maybe you'd finally tell someone you love them. Or maybe you'd admit that you don't love the life you've built. Maybe you'd stand up for yourself in a way you never have before. Or maybe you'd finally look in the mirror and admit the one thing you've been too scared to say out loud. Just let it out. Because here's the truth. The more you suppress your voice, the more you lose yourself. And the only way to reclaim your power is to start speaking your truth, no matter how scary it feels. Happiness. We all chase it, but do we even know what it is? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt genuinely happy? Think back. Was it a quiet moment with a loved one, watching a sunrise, losing yourself in a hobby? Happiness isn't found in stuff. It's found in moments. It's found in connection, creativity, and presence. But here's the tricky part. Happiness looks different for everyone. What lights you up might not light me up, and that's okay. The key is to figure out what your version of happiness looks like. In stillness. Here's the truth. Happiness isn't something you find, it's something you create. And it starts with knowing what truly matters to you. Once you figure that out, the next step is simple. Do more of it. Success. It's a word we hear constantly. But here's the question most of us never ask. What does success mean to me? For most people, the definition of success is handed to them. It's a good job, a big house, a fancy car, a picture-perfect family. It's climbing the corporate ladder or hitting a certain number in your bank account. While there's nothing wrong with those things, the problem arises when we adopt someone else's version of success without ever questioning it. Let me ask you this. Are you chasing a version of success that actually fulfills you? Or are you chasing what you've been told you're supposed to want? It's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel unprepared. These emotions are not signs of weakness, they're signs of being human. But don't let them hold you hostage. The courage to face what you've been avoiding is what will set you free. Start small. Maybe today you simply acknowledge what you've been hiding. Maybe tomorrow you take one step toward addressing it. The goal isn't to have it all figured out. The goal is to stop running. Because when you stop running, you give yourself the chance to heal, to grow, and to finally embrace the person you're meant to be. Asking these questions is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you answer them honestly and then act on those answers. It's not easy. There will be moments when the truth feels too raw, too messy. You'll be tempted to turn away, to fall back into old patterns, to tell yourself, maybe someday. But here's the thing. Someday isn't promised. The only moment you have is right now. So start today. Sit with these questions. Write down your answers. Reflect on them deeply, unapologetically. And then ask yourself, what's one small step I can take towards living a life that feels real? Because that's what this is all about. It's not about perfection or having all the answers. It's about living a life that's aligned with who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. When you start living authentically, something incredible happens. You stop chasing approval. You stop measuring your worth by external metrics. And instead, you begin to create a life that feels good on the inside. A life that brings you joy, peace, and fulfillment. So take the leap. Answer the questions. Face the fears.
Stop and think. What's something really big that you would love to see yourself accomplish? If you were to just roll the clock ahead, a year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 15 years, what is it that you really want?
Fall in love with the process, because it is the most beautiful thing in existence. I mean, right now, you are in the process of pursuing something extraordinary. You're developing your mind, your skills, and along the way, experiencing failure, but then learning from it and continuing forward, smarter, stronger, more equipped than the last time. You meet new people, experience new things, doors open up, and periodically you look back and realize how far you have come. That is beautiful.
I think most people feel really lonely when you want something that doesn't currently exist. And so some people call that dreams, some people call that goals, whatever it is. You're trying to pull something from your mind into reality, and you want it done a certain way. And if it's not done that way, it's not what you imagined. And so people on the outside will throw stones and call you names that they think will change your behavior and get you to stop.
Remember, sometimes you will take the wrong turn in life. You take that wrong turn, it leads to a dead end. Now what are you gonna do? You're gonna sit there at the dead end and stare at it? Or are you gonna turn around and figure out which way you're supposed to go? You're gonna go through a lot of dead ends in life. You just gotta keep it pushing, figure your way out of it, but don't ever just stand still. Life is always going. So if you stand still for too long, life is gonna pass by.
The majority of people just don't do it. You know, it's like a lot of people want it, but not a lot of people want to do it. So just by taking that one little step, you're separating yourself from the herd.
The most important thing is to take action. That is the most, even if it's the wrong action. If you take the wrong step, if you take the first step in the wrong direction, the difference between you and the person who doesn't take a step at all is the worry. You have to take the first step. You have to take some kind of action.
Most people are incapable of picking a direction and just going. They observe the possibilities. They get paralyzed by all the possibilities. They refuse to move forward on all the possibilities, and then time passes them by. So it's very important that you make a decision and you go down that path. You commit to that path with the mentality of having zero options. I don't have a choice but to see this through.
You know, you're not going to be perfect. Yes, you're going to have times in your journey where maybe you fall off in certain areas, or maybe you're not as disciplined, or you waver a little bit, right? But it's about maximizing the moment that you have right now, right? Having the self-awareness and the self-reflection to be able to catch yourself when you are falling off or slacking in a certain area in your life, and bring yourself back to center, ground yourself where you are, and make the most out of this moment that you have right now. Make the next right decision.
I feel like if you don't know where you want to be right now, you just need to ask yourself, what would you like to be doing a year from now? Because if you shorten up how long it takes you to get to where you want to be, it's easier and more attainable. I think when you think about what do you want to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it seems like too far to reach. So starting with baby steps really helps you figure out where you really want to see your life go. Not where your friends or family want to see it, but where you want to go. And if you know at least where you'd like to be this time next summer, that should give you a good indication to start looking in that niche, in that field, down that path. Like whatever that looks like for you is for you. And only you know that.
All of us are trying to find something, trying to find meaning, love, contentment, because we feel that something is missing. That's why we're so busy, why we kill ourselves with work, why we can't be still. This drive is what allows us to accomplish things, so it's not all bad. The problem is that when we do accomplish things, we don't feel that much better. It never seems to fill the void. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you've wandered all over and finally realized that you've never found what you were after, how to live, not in syllogisms, not in money or fame or self-indulgence, nowhere. Ain't that exactly right? What we have to realize is that the answer to our problems is not more. Money, power, renown, these will not satisfy us. We satisfy it simply by living our life as nature demands. That means by being good, by being true to ourselves, by focusing, by not wasting a second wishing anything was otherwise or caring what other people think of us. We just live as well as we can.
The fact is, there is something big inside of you. Lean into that. I know that you have huge ambitions, and I want to make sure that you never give up on going for them.
Best day of a man's life is the day he realizes that nobody's coming to save him. If he can know that and feel peace about it and almost be excited about it because he gets to go fight his own hero's journey, he'll win. If he can accept it, he'll win. Because you take entire responsibility for your life. Too many people give up responsibility in their life so they can point the finger at somebody else. Take responsibility for everything. I'm going to win. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do the same thing I did yesterday.
When you guys think about what it is that creates greatness, and when you think about all the things that you wish you could be, and wish you were, and wish you could become, you have to understand that that requires effort from you. That requires you doing things intentionally that are going to make you uncomfortable, that are going to help develop skills that you can then apply to any plan that you move forward.
Challenge yourself. There's always more things that we could do, that we can face, that we can get things done, but we don't want to do it because it feels scary, it feels uncomfortable. We worry. That's another way. If everything in life is doing well, then that means you're not challenging yourself enough.
Feeling lonely? Me too. I feel lonely a lot. But what loneliness is at its core is a lack of understanding of who we really are.
When something bad happens, why me? To feel sort of a grievance, that things aren't fair, to feel that other people aren't giving you what you want or what you deserve. We start from a position of feeling kind of sorry for ourselves. We deserve more than what we're getting. And so amor fati is very powerful in that you train yourself to accept everything that happens. It's sort of a banality to say that things happen for a reason, but there's some truth to it. For Nietzsche, it was, this is life. Life involves pain. Life involves adversity. You're going to die one day and it's not going to be pleasant. Your friends and family members, they're going to die one day and it's not going to be pleasant. You're going to have failure in life. People are going to hurt you. But that is life. That's what it is. So to resist that, to be angry about that, means to not love life itself.
Join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations are high. Go where the demands are high. Go where the pressure's on to perform, to grow, to change, to develop, to read, to study, to develop skills. Go where the demands are high. Go where the expectations are strong so that it'll provoke you, push you, urgently insist that you not remain the same for the next couple of years, the next 5 years, that you'll grow and change.
There are so many times in life where people want to be able to change. I want to change revenue. I want to change my avenue. I want to change my residence. I want to change everything around me without truly changing the only thing that matters in life, and that's you. You've got to work on you. You've got to decide, I want to be more, and I'm going to put in the work to develop myself and stop throwing in the towel thinking that I got to quit and find a new location and start over. You can start right now working on you so that you can become better. But the only way to do that is allow yourself to build up resiliency. When it feels like everything is against you, then put your back against the wall and realize that whatever faces me has to come at me face to face. And if I stand there, the bully's got to back down. But if you throw in the towel, if you turn your back, if you run from it, it will stalk you the rest of your life. Questions like, what could I have been? What would have happened if I had stayed in the fight? You don't have to wonder what would have been when you stay in it right now. Greatness is something that evolves out of your life because of failures you've had in the past. Every time you fall, it's an example or an opportunity to get up and an opportunity to learn from it. But you gotta stay in the fight. Don't turn your back and run for the fight that was built for you. You're not overmatched. You just don't understand the match has met its mate when it met you.
The battle is feelings versus discipline. And I hate living according to your feelings. I hate acting according to your feelings. They get you messed up, dude. They jack your life up. They get you in trouble because not all feelings are good. You cannot live your life based off of your feelings. Feelings do not equal reality. Feelings do not equal results.
It won't get harder. Like, this is the hardest part. And so if you can just make it through this, everything else is downhill. It's not that the things that the dragons are going to slay aren't going to get bigger. They are. But you become so much more equipped to slay them back. And you have so many more allies. You have people in the stands cheering for you. You have the audience. You have all of these other things that are behind you. But in the beginning, it's just you with a stick against a bear.
I need you to understand that there is an undeniable power behind belief. And I know that you've never had anybody that's truly believed in you, but I'm telling you that I believe in you. I know that you can overcome your destructive habits, that you can become more confident, you can earn more, you can let go of the traumas. That shit no longer serve you, and you're better than that.
I'm saying what if and start saying why not. Some people are gonna live with the what if for the rest of their lives. But when I get old and I'm on my deathbed, man, what if I would've took that chance? What if I would've just started? What if I would've took the first step? Taking the first step got us exactly to where we are today. You take a chance to do something that you love, or something you saw in a dream, you can change your life. But exactly where you are right now is always gonna be there. It's never gonna go anywhere. Your hometown's gonna be the same. People are gonna be doing the same shit around you. But a chance for you to get out of where you're at, step out and take a chance on life, man, it could be the best decision you ever made in your life. But you can't sit down and what if? Sit there on your ass and think, damn, boy, what would it be like to be there? Go fucking do it.
The hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. Now, once people understand that they're going to be uncomfortable, then the question is, what thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? What behaviors will you demonstrate in one day? And the act of closing your eyes and rehearsing who you're going to be when you open your eyes begins to install neurological hardware in your brain to look like you've already done it.
Whatever you're thinking about, that's who you will become, because thoughts lead to actions, actions lead to habits, habits lead to lifestyle, and that lifestyle is what dictates who you are.
Here's the reality. Bad days are in store for all of us. It's guaranteed. It's the circle of life. So the question we need to ask ourselves is it really worth wasting perfectly good days fearing the bad ones?
Will chase happiness because they think that that's what they need, when in reality, happiness is just a byproduct of becoming the best version of yourself. So instead of chasing the emotion, become the type of person that is experiencing that emotion, and you can be in that state more consistently.
It's so easy to lose ourselves in the midst of a storm, especially when it feels like we haven't seen a sunny day in months. And we think because this storm is so powerful that all of our dreams are going to be washed away with it. But what if the storm looked at you and said, if you stay true, what's for you will find you?
This is the comeback. Maybe you're in a rut, maybe you've just experienced failure, or maybe you're just lost. But this is the part in your story where the momentum shifts. This is where you find the drive that you've been looking for. It is now. This is the start of your comeback. The vision that you have for your future, everything you so desire, is begging you to pick yourself up and begin your journey. Because the window is closing, and if you pass this one up, you very well may solidify your eternal existence within the dreadful cycle of stagnation.
When you find that sense of purpose, when you find what I call your life's task, everything has a direction, everything has a purpose, your energy is concentrated. It's not like you're just going down a single narrow pathway. It's not like life becomes boring and it's just about discipline and solving problems. It's actually the most exciting thing that can ever happen to you, because you never have that lost feeling. You wake up in the morning and you go, yeah, this is what I need to accomplish. People come at you with all kinds of distractions and boring and irritating things. You're able to cut it out. It's just the most marvelous piece of internal radar that you can have. So I genuinely wish that everybody can find that kind of internal radar.
You are the creator. You are creating every aspect of your life. You're creating time, you're creating memories, you're creating bad habits, you're creating good habits, you're creating good relationships, you're creating bad relationships. You're creating everything. You're creating things that you don't like. You're creating things that you love. You are a creative being, and you need to be continuously creating in order to maintain momentum and energy.
The undisputed first law of personal growth is this, that people will never rise above the opinion of themselves. And when we commit to self-mastery, we give ourselves the best shot of becoming the best and greatest versions of ourselves that we can be. And then we get to become the example and the invitation to others. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
You know, in this life, in your own personal journey, you're going to go through so many ups and downs, ebbs and flows, twists and turns. And it's so important to just embrace them all with an open mind and an open heart, you know, and understand that, you know, you're in a constant state of evolution and growth. And growth sometimes is amazing and it feels great and it's beautiful. And on the other end, growth sometimes is also incredibly painful and uncomfortable. And it's the ability to be able to embrace all those seasons, all those facets, understanding that through it all, you're growing and it's all serving a greater purpose.
Forward is progress. They all matter. Don't fall into the trap of comparison. If 6 months slip by without you achieving your goals, it's okay. As long as you're here, time is your ally. You are enough. You are deserving. You are capable. Life isn't a race. Your journey matters. You'll get there when you get there.
Your life and the journey you put yourself through, there's nothing more than that. And that's all I want people to do is realize that you have to struggle. You have to struggle. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the peace. The bigger the suffering, the more peace.
I really hope that you know that you are going to overcome the things that feel impossible to forget. Because here's the thing. Very soon, you are going to start making new, beautiful memories that are going to find a home in that place in you that's empty right now. And I also hope that you know that what is coming for you is going to be way better and way more amazing than what's left and what's gone.
You can reinvent and rebuild and rethink what you're going to do next any moment you choose. You're not too old. You're not too young. You're not too late. You need new goals. When you've been at this for a while, the goals that you had a decade ago are not the goals and the things that are going to motivate you right now. So instead of beating yourself up for not achieving those goals, why don't you flip your attitude and say to yourself, maybe those goals weren't the ones that are meant for you. What is it that you want in this moment of your life?
Why is it that we need to run from the chaos? Why is it that we need to run from the pain? Why is it that we want to run away from the things that hurt our feelings or hurt us inside or scare us? Why are we trying to run away from that stuff? Because we both know that our biggest lessons, your biggest lessons that you've ever experienced in life have come from the darkest times. You ever notice that like we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to keep ourselves out of trouble and keep ourselves away from the pain and away from the darkness, yet that is actually where the gift lies, is inside those places.
When you're at your lowest, you realize a lot. Everything is raw. Everything is simplified. It feels like everything's been lost, and all that you're left with is the foundation of you. But these are the perfect ingredients for a rebirth and a rebuild. You may not realize it now, but you're going to look back and realize that rock bottom gave you the gift of being able to start over. And not many people get that gift. The pages are blank, and you are the author.
I had a gut feeling that maybe you were meant for more. Me too. So what's your more? And I'm not talking about just more money or more things. I'm also talking about more love, more joy, more choice, more balance, more trust. What's your more?
A champion is built on the other side if I don't feel like it, right? Kenny Smith say champions do daily what everybody else does occasionally. The beautiful part about life is in whatever we do, in whatever we seek to accomplish, in whatever we pursue. If you got two competitors, when they first start something, a winner and a loser has the exact same goal when they first started. But somewhere along the journey, the process, something is gonna happen that's gonna test your level of desire, it's gonna test your level of passion, gonna test your words and see how bad you really want what it is that you say you want.
Most people will not understand your obsession, your drive, and your determination. Success is a lonely journey. That's just a reality. And most people are not going to understand why you're so driven, why you're so obsessed. And if you try and make them understand, you're going to end up frustrated.
Champion mentality. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to the light that I have. Having a champion mentality isn't about the trophies, medals, or success. It's about having no quit. It's not letting anyone hear you complain. Standing up for all you believe in, living in your truth, and setting the standard at which you operate at for everything in your life. It's about willingly choosing to do every single thing within your power to achieve your end result.
There's a reason you can't just run once and expect to stay in shape. There's a reason you can't study once and expect to be prepared. There's a reason you can't practice hard once in a while and expect to win. You can't wake up early once and expect to stay ahead. Once you commit to consistency, accomplishing your goals will follow. Until then, once will never be enough.
Resolve says I will, two of the most powerful words in the language. Benjamin Disraeli said, nothing can resist a human will that will stake its existence on its purpose. Shortly put, I'll do it or die. You'll go for it until you understand it. You'll practice it until you develop the skill. Never give up until, however long that is, step by step, piece by piece, book by book, word by word, apple by apple. Walk around the block, walk around the block. Go for it. Don't miss the chance to grow. And resolve that you'll pay the price until you learn, change, grow, become. Then you'll discover some of life's best treasures when you pay that.
80% of the population never improves. They work to become okay at their work, and then they level off. And years go by and they never improve. They do their job just enough not to lose their job. And they don't understand because they're surrounded by people who are not improving either. And they think, well, this must be the way the world is. And so they feel out of control of their lives. So the top 10%, however, are constantly improving. Lifelong improvement, learning new things and becoming better. If you do that, you own the future. And if you don't do that, you're always a victim of rapid change.
You can't be great and comfortable. You gotta make a choice. You're gonna be great or you're gonna be comfortable. Because if you're gonna be great, you're gonna be uncomfortable.
Driven human beings are going to always feel like they're behind. They're gonna always feel like they're not doing good enough. They're gonna always feel like they're not far enough. They're all gonna always feel like you're losing. Look, winning, this is how it feels. 90% of the time, you're gonna feel like you're getting your balls kicked in, all right? 8% of the time, you're gonna be confused and you're frustrated. 2% of the time, you actually win. And those moments come and go, and then you're back in the 90%. And that's the reality of a winner's life, because true winners are built for the fight. They're built for the battle. They don't find peace and joy and happiness in the win. They find what they're looking for in the fight.
Because somewhere along the journey, we're all not gonna feel like it. And it's in those moments that character is shown. You judge the true character and caliber of a person, not by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge true character and caliber of a person by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. I.e., in moments when things don't go right, in moments when they don't feel like it, in moments when things don't play out the way they want it to play out. Who are you then? What do you do every single day that people do occasionally? Right? Because a lot of people got talent, a lot of people got skill, a lot of people got gifts, a lot of people got that. But what happens is, oftentimes, they're so talented, so gifted, that their talents, their gifts, and their skill sets ascends them to a place that their character can't sustain.
In life, when things are good and easy, if you enjoy something or you love something, that doesn't mean that you truly love it. You know, if you only like your business when it's easy, or if you only like being a parent when it's easy, that doesn't mean you love parenting. You know, really, truly loving something in life is you're there and you show up when it sucks. And it takes work and it takes effort. And we've all had that feeling, whatever it is in life, where we're like, you know what, this, I don't need this. And if you have that thought, snap yourself out of it in the next second, you're like, what am I saying here? I can't give up on this.
You try to drive in the future using a rear view mirror to guide yourself. I got news for you, you're gonna crash. You have to be able to look forward and create what you want, even if you've never been able to do it before. If you just tried it and it didn't work, this moment is new.
The most important conversation is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it. Eventually, you act on it.
The fact is that you're more amazing than you've ever imagined. You're more qualified, more gifted, more useful, more meaningful than anyone has ever defined or told you you could be. There are times where you've tried to talk yourself into believing your value by looking in the mirror and you haven't gotten the right reflection because you haven't said it with the right inflection.
You're missing out on everything because you're waiting for someday. You're waiting for someday to feel ready, someday for it to be perfect, someday. Well, I'll tell you what, today is that someday.
If you want to attract what you want, you've got to see yourself already with it. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. You've got to become what you want. You've got to realize the minute you hold your mind in harmony with the good you want, then you've already got it. It's only a period of time till it manifests in physical form. That's called the perpetual transmutation of energy. That is a law, the first law of the universe.
How badly do you want it? You've got to pay a price to be the best. The best pay a big price. You've got to work harder, you've got to commit more, you've got to take more responsibility, you've got to deal with more ups and downs. If we can deal with that question, how much are you willing to suffer?
The size of your dreams must always exceed your current capacity to achieve them. If your dreams do not scare you, they are not big enough. If you start off with a small dream, you may not have much left when it is fulfilled, because along the way, life will test your dreams and make demands on you.
Be the hero of your own movie. If your life was a movie and it started now, forget about whatever financial disasters you've had, personal failures, relationship failures. What would the hero of your life's movie do right now? Do that. Do those things. We define ourselves far too often by our past failures. We look at our past and we say, well, that's not you.
Spin the block, man. Spin the block. It might be your day. It might not be your week, your month, your year. Spin the block. Knock again. Knock again. Keep calling. Keep showing up. Keep doing what you've been doing. It's going to pay off. You don't see it right now. But I promise you, it's happening. The roots are growing. The roots are growing. The fruits are coming.
I never ran track, but I've always heard that, like, if you ever want to be faster, you got to run with a bunch of people who are way faster than you. And there's something that happens with us as humans. When you are surrounded by those who are superior in their performance than you are, you're bound to be lifted up if you're as ambitious. If not, you're wasting everyone's time.
You're more than a ripple. You're the one that will cause waves in life, but you got to keep going. There's a thing called flow. You have to get into it, and the only way to get into it is to get through the things that try to interrupt your flow. Your development as a person, whatever it is you were born to do, you got to find out that one thing and invest yourself in it, so much so that you got to hold stock when everyone tells you that it has no value. You matter, and you always have mattered.
Success is something you attract, not something you pursue.
Success is looking for a good place to stay. So instead of going after it, you work on yourself. Personal development. See, the major question to ask on the job is not what are you getting? The major question to ask on the job is what are you becoming?
You want to know the secret to achieving everything that you dream about? Don't quit. See, when you know what the destination is, there's a million paths to get there. And it took me a long time to learn that the greatest moments of growth and success happen right after you feel like quitting, but you don't. That's the secret. Keep going.
Don't even panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. Right now, there's a rebuilding stage. Right now. Right now, you have a chance to rebuild. Because what you're doing is you're looking at everything that went wrong. But you're not looking at what's going to go right tomorrow. Once you sit back, just sit back. Write everything down. Write your list. Write that list down of where you want to be, who you want to be, where you want to go. Look at the world. Look around you. Look at your environment and say to yourself, what do I need to move out of the way in order so I can get to the places I'm trying to go?
Your skill set is being developed under pressure, under denials, under rejection, under the people that have told you no. Those no's are things that you need. It needs you to fortify and believe in yourself until you can get to the point where it doesn't matter what anyone else says. You believe it with all your soul that I matter, that I was born to do something, and the greatness within me is going to touch other lives. You're not here just for you. The gift that you have is to be presented to God at the end of your life, and when you present it to Him, He'll ask you, how many other people did you bless? How many other people did you give it to? Because the one thing you don't want is regret. Not with the dash that we have. Our lives are way too short to live it just for us.
That's why people have scars. They're a reminder in their memory. There's something you get past, and there's something you live through, but at the end of the day, they're almost there.
All fools in life have one thing in common, according to the Stoics. Seneca says what they all have in common is that they're always getting ready to start. They are delaying to live because they think they have the future, they think they have forever. They say, I'm not ready, or they say, I'm going to do it after. I'm going to do it once this thing happens, when conditions are more favorable. They never say to themselves, I'm never going to do it. They say, I'm going to do it later. But no one knows what the future holds. No one knows how much time we have left. Life is happening right now, this second. In fact, the time that ticks by, the Stoics say, belongs to death. It's dead. It can never be recovered. So don't be a fool. Don't delay. You could be good today, Aurelius reminds us. Instead, you choose tomorrow.
You have to work harder than you think you possibly can. You can't hold grudges. It's hard. And it doesn't matter how you get knocked down in life, because that's going to happen. All that matters is that you got to get up.
If tomorrow was not a guarantee, how far would you push? If you thought that today was your last opportunity to ever do the thing, how far would you go? How far would you go? How fast would you run? How much would you sacrifice knowing you're never going to lace it up again?
You are willing to make the decision with the mindset, what if it does work out? I think at some point in every person's life, there is that collision between somebody else's expectations and hopes and dreams and yours.
You have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up.
What if? A lot of times I'll be in a 200-mile run or something like that, and I'm all jacked up. Body's broken, mind's broken, spirit's broken. I start to say, what if I can pull this off? It's the what if I can pull off a fucking miracle. What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be?
When you say you're going to do something and then you follow through and you do it, not at the end when you cross the marathon, you finish it, or your hands raised. I'm talking about right now. The small steps in between the big successes that everyone sees. No one sees this.
Don't panic. Right now, this is a rebuilding stage. You need to stop looking at everything that's going wrong and start looking at everything that can go right tomorrow if you put in the work today. No more excuses. No more blaming other people for the hand that you're dealt. Take ownership of everything in your life. Move past the negative thoughts that tell you that you can't. You can get back everything else, but you can't get back today. So make it count.
Your setbacks are actually things that set you up to win. You're amazing, you're phenomenal. The pain doesn't come, but it also reveals a greater side of you, that you are more than the things that have happened to you, and you're more than things that are going on inside of you. You just have to discover that there's a purpose for it. Use it for that purpose as fuel to get to the next level.
Those who are great are grateful. The difference is there are those who say, I have to put in the work, and there are those who say, I get to put in the work. One of them is going to put in more work, put in more of the small details into their craft, and they're going to get out a whole lot more because they're grateful to be there.
You must hold yourself accountable, and being your hero, that's what that does. You make yourself so totally accountable for who you are. You focus on you and only on you to become the best person you can be for others. Because we leave a lot on the table, not searching who we are. And then therefore, you die not knowing your greatest potential.
You will become whatever you're fascinated with. You always become whatever you're fascinated with. This is the law of mind. If you become fascinated by poverty, you become poor. You become fascinated with sickness and the reports of all kinds of diseases, you will become sick. Whatever you become fascinated with, you'll get it and it'll get you. This is the law of mind, and it works with anything. So do not become fascinated with what you do not want. If you want to be wealthy, become fascinated with wealth. Become fascinated with wealthy people. If you want to be successful and prosperous, become fascinated with successful, prosperous people.
The only way I lose is if I quit. It's going to be a dogfight. So if you're ready to quit, then don't get started. If you're ready to quit, don't get started. If you're looking for this easy path, don't get started. If you think they're not going to close the door on you and say no a million times, don't get started. But every time they close the door, I just get excited. Why? Because I am not a no. I'm one yes away.
I want to share with you is to wake up early and stack wins. What I mean is we need to start stacking little wins. Most of you out there think that success in life is a byproduct of big wins. Like I got to make that deal. I got to get that sale. I got to start that partnership. And the big wins are important too. Make no mistake about it. But I'm here to tell you that the little wins stacked every day, every hour, over time, over days, weeks, and months, make you a gangster of a human being.
Discipline. People use that word so loosely. You have to sacrifice loved ones in order to be great because they don't understand. I am getting up every single day at 5 or 6 a.m. And when I get home after everyone leaves the gym, I'm going to take a nap. So now you're sacrificing your loved ones because you're not spending time with them. And when I wake up, I'm probably going to train again. And then I'm going to have dinner. And then I'm going to bed. And I'm going to do that every single day for a long period of time. That's sacrificing and discipline.
Most people will not understand your obsession, your drive, and your determination. Success is a lonely journey. That's just a reality. And most people are not going to understand why you're so driven, why you're so obsessed. And if you try and make them understand, you're going to end up frustrated. The best advice I can tell you is go on the journey by yourself.
In the battle, you find peace. When you go to war with yourself, you find a lot of peace. Because you know exactly who you are. And that is where the peace is really found for me.